Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Almost through another week of e-learning. Congratulations. For today's lesson, we are going to take what we learned yesterday on Wednesday and kind of push it a little bit further, thinking more towards high school and what the expectation will be for ninth grade. So our lesson topic today is talking about supplementary angle relationships and more specifically tying in variable expressions. So your goal for today is to use your knowledge of supplementary angle relationships to solve for missing variables and to plug those unknown values into the expressions that are shown in your diagram. But let's quickly review to make sure that we're all on the same page. Remember that congruent, another word for congruent is actually equal. So we looked at earlier in the week all these different relationships that produced equal angles. However, today we're going to be focusing on supplementary angle relationships. Remember that supplementary means adding to 180 degrees. That 180 is going to come into play for every problem that we work with today. Remember that this diagram appears every time that we're talking about the angles and the transversal and the parallel lines. Just to give you a quick review, remember that if this angle here is 120, we know that angle 3 is also going to be 120. These are vertical angles right here. And then if we think, okay, well, if this guy is 120, then this guy also has to be 120. Those are corresponding. Whatever you see up here in the top 4 cluster will be exactly the same in the bottom 4 cluster. So we can almost just emulate exactly what you have. Now, here's where supplementary comes into play. We know that these two angles here are in a straight line, which means that they add up to 180 degrees. So ask yourself, 120 plus what gets you to 180? Or do 180 minus 120? And hopefully we can come up with the answer of 60. So then that 60 is going to come into play for the rest of the diagram. Okay, notice that you only have 2 angle measures throughout the entire diagram. That's how it'll always be. This top cluster is the exact same as the bottom cluster here. Today, after that quick review, we are only focusing on supplementary angle relationships. Just supplementary. That's it. Let's keep it simple. With that, there are 2 supplementary angle relationships within the diagram. Same side interior. Notice how all of the S's are together. If you ever see something on the same side, it's going to be supplementary. So when they say same side interior, we know that we're only talking about our interior angles here. So I know 3 and 5 are on the same side interior, which means that they add to 180. And I know that 4 and 6 are also same side interior, same side, and in the inside here, which means that they would add up to 180 degrees. The other supplementary angle relationship is almost the exact same thing, but it's same side exterior. So we're looking for angles on the same side of the transversal, but now outside of the parallel lines. So if I'm starting with angle number 1, whatever is on the same side on the outside of your parallel lines here, it'll be angle 7. So angles 1 and 7 add up to 180 degrees. Similarly, for angle 2, the same side exterior angle is over here. These also add up to 180 degrees. That should be reviewed from yesterday. Here's what we're going to be starting with today. We know that supplementary angles always add up to 180 degrees. So to help us with what we're going to do today, if you could copy down this green format, you're going to use that for like every problem that we do, okay, knowing that we're going to be adding angles to a sum of 180. So here we go. If I was looking at this diagram and I asked you to solve for x, you could tell me, all right, I know that both of these angles here are on the same side and they're both exterior. If they're same side exterior, they're supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. So if you were filling in this little format here, you can put both expressions, add them up to 180 degrees. Then we need to combine our like terms. So 7x plus 10x gives me 17x, and then 3 plus 7 gives me 10. Now, you guys, this is just an equation, and we've been solving equation since August. So we've got 17x plus 10 equals 180. When you see this plus 10, we need to do the inverse by subtracting 10 on both sides. That gives us 17x equals 170 degrees. Divide both sides by 17, and you get x equals 10. So to recap, when I asked you to solve for x, you just need to add both expressions and set it equal to 180. Combine like terms, solve, and you get x equals 10. Now, to push it one step further, knowing that x equals 10, can you plug that back in to find the measure of each angle? So all you need to do, I usually do like a t-chart just to make sure that I cover both of them. If I was trying to find this angle here, I want to know, all right, 7x plus 3, but what is that really? All I need to do is take out my x and substitute in 10. So 7 times 10 gives me 70. 70 plus 3 gives me 73 degrees. So this angle up here is 73 degrees. If I'm trying to find my bottom angle, this 10x plus 7, again, you're going to take out your x and you're going to substitute in 10 because that's what we solved for on the other slide. When you do that, you get 100 plus 7 and you get 107. You know that you did it correctly because 107 plus 73 gets you to 180, and we know these two angles add up to a total of 180 degrees. Let's do one more example together before I set you off on your own. Okay, I'm asking you to solve for x. Right now, hopefully you see that these two angles are on the same side of the transversal and that they're both interior. Well, same side interior means they're supplementary. Therefore, we can plug in both equations and we can add them together to 180. So notice this format came up here again. So I'm going to take each expression and set it all equal to 180. Now you need to work on combining your like terms. Okay, so we worked on this a lot together in person. You've got 5x and 7x, and you've got a -4 and a -8. When you combine your like terms, we know that 5x plus 7x is 12x, and then a -4 plus a -8 is a -12. And all of that equals 180 degrees. Now, to start getting 12x by itself, we need to do the inverse of -12, which is adding 12 to both sides. So here's where we are. These are going to cancel, and you'll be left with 12x equals 192. To get x by itself, we would divide both sides by 12, and we get x equals 16. So because these are same side interior, we know that we can plug in both expressions and add them all up to 180 degrees. When you did that, we got x equals 16. And I'm sure you can guess in the next slide what I'm going to ask you to do. Knowing that x equals 16, can you plug that in and find out, all right, what is the actual angle measure here? What is the actual angle measure here? So let's start with 5x minus 4. So I'm going to take out my x and I'm going to substitute in 16. Use a calculator, do 5 times 16, which gives us 80. 80 minus 4 is 76. So this angle right here is really 76 degrees. For my 7x minus 8, again, you're going to take out your x value, and I should have made this a different color, so sorry, and plug in the 16. Use your calculator. 7 times 16 is 112. Subtract away 8, and you get 104. You know you did it correctly because 104 plus 76 gives you a total of 180 degrees. So ladies and gentlemen, before I let you go to do your assignment, my recommendation is that every time you are starting with this little diagram here, okay, your space plus space equals 180. When we've got same side interior or same side exterior, those angles always combine to equal 180, so we can use our knowledge of combining like terms and solving equations for those values. If you're asked to find the actual angle measure, just know that you're going to have to take whatever you solved for, like if you got x equals 10, x equals 16, and plug it back into those original expressions. I think that's it. That was a lot of information to cover via video, so if you have questions, please message me. Your assignment for today is the Supplementary Angles Schoology check. Okay, so you need to make sure you take it 2 times for the highest score. If you need anything, message me. Miss you so much. See you later.